I never thought opening the door on Christmas Eve would turn into the worst night of my life. But it did. My wife Sarah and I had just moved into an old house outside Portland. It was our first Christmas there. We spent the evening wrapping gifts, drinking hot chocolate, and watching movies by the fire. Everything felt calm and warm. Around 9, we heard carolers outside. Sarah got excited and said we should go listen, or maybe offer them cookies. I agreed, so we opened the front door and saw 6 people in our driveway singing Silent Night. They were bundled up for the cold and looked normal at first. When the song ended, a woman in a long red coat stepped forward. She moved in a stiff, strange way that made Sarah lean toward me and whisper that something felt off. I told her I felt it too. The woman kept coming closer, and I realized I couldn't see her face. The scarf around her head didn't hide her features. It looked like there was nothing there at all. Just darkness. I tried closing the door, but she grabbed the frame with a grip so strong it didn't feel human. Sarah screamed, and I pushed back as hard as I could. Then she spoke, but it sounded like several voices speaking at once. She said she wanted to come inside and sing for us. I told her to leave. That's when the other 5 carolers started walking toward the house in perfect sync, like puppets. Sarah ran to call the police. I grabbed an umbrella and hit the woman's hand until she finally let go, and I slammed the door shut. They started singing again outside, but the words were backwards, or in some language I couldn't understand. I checked the window and saw all of them standing in a circle in our driveway. One by one, they turned their heads toward the house. None of them had faces. I closed the curtains fast and told Sarah to stay away from the windows. The singing went on for a while and then stopped all at once. We hid in the hallway until the police arrived. When they searched the property, they said nobody was out there. No tracks in the snow. Nothing at all. But Sarah and I know what we saw. We moved 2 months later and never celebrated Christmas the same way again. Even now, whenever I hear carolers, I feel sick. I never open the door after dark during the holidays. And sometimes, late at night, I can still hear that backwards singing in my head. It started back in 2019, my first Christmas living by myself after my divorce. I had put up a small Christmas tree in my living room, nothing fancy, just something to make the place feel less empty during the holidays. On Christmas Eve, I went to bed around 11 p.m. like usual. When I woke up on Christmas morning and walked into my living room, there was a wrapped present under my tree that hadn't been there the night before. The box was about the size of a shoebox, wrapped in plain red paper with a silver bow on top. No tag, no card, nothing to say who it was from. I lived on the 3rd floor, and my door had been locked all night. I checked, and there was no sign that anyone had broken in. I stood there staring at this mystery gift, trying to figure out how it got there. Part of me wanted to open it, but something about the whole situation felt wrong. So I didn't open it. I just left it under the tree. The next year, the exact same thing happened. I went to bed on Christmas Eve and woke up to find another wrapped box under my tree, identical to the first one. Same red paper, same silver bow. I started to panic a little. Someone was getting into my apartment while I slept, and I had no idea how. I changed my locks. I checked my windows. I even got a security camera for my front door. Nothing helped. The box still appeared. This went on for 5 years. Every Christmas morning, a new box would be sitting under my tree. I never opened any of them. I was too scared. I just put them in my closet and tried to forget about them. By this year, I had 5 unopened boxes stacked in the back of my bedroom closet, and I was expecting a 6th one. Christmas Eve 2024. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about those boxes and wondering what could possibly be inside them. Around 11:45 p.m., I decided to stay awake and watch my tree. I wanted to see if I could catch whoever was doing this. I sat on my couch in the dark with all the lights off, just staring at my Christmas tree. At exactly midnight, I heard a soft thump. I didn't see anyone come in. I didn't hear a door open. But suddenly, there it was. Another red-wrapped box sitting under my tree, like it had just appeared out of thin air. My hands were shaking as I walked over to it. This time, I decided I was going to open it. I needed to know what was inside. I carefully unwrapped the red paper and opened the box. Inside was a small camcorder, the old kind that records onto little tapes. There was a tape already inside it. I took the camcorder to my TV and connected it so I could watch whatever was on the tape. When I pressed play, my heart nearly stopped. The video showed my bedroom at night. The camera angle was from the corner of my ceiling, looking down at my bed. And there I was, sleeping. The timestamp on the video said it was from last night, December 23rd. I watched in horror as the video showed me sleeping for hours, just lying there, completely unaware that I was being recorded. I fast-forwarded through the tape and realized it wasn't just last night. There were hundreds of hours of footage, me sleeping night after night for what looked like years. Someone had been watching me sleep and recording it this entire time. I immediately called the police. When they arrived, I showed them everything: the boxes, the camcorder, the footage. They searched my entire apartment looking for hidden cameras, but found nothing. They told me to file a report and said they'd investigate, but I could tell they didn't really know what to do. I couldn't stay in that apartment anymore. I moved out the next day and stayed with my sister. I never went back. The police never found who was doing it or how they were getting in. To this day, I still don't know who was watching me or why they chose me. I don't celebrate Christmas anymore. I can't. Every time December comes around, I get this terrible feeling that someone is still watching me, even in my new place. Sometimes at night when I'm trying to fall asleep, I find myself staring at the corners of my room, looking for cameras I know aren't there. I haven't had a good night's sleep since last Christmas. I probably never will again. This happened last December when my wife and I took our kids to a small old cabin deep in the mountains of Colorado for Christmas. The place looked perfect in the photos: snow-covered roof, tall pine trees, and a wooden interior that felt like something out of a winter movie. The owner casually mentioned that the last family left earlier than expected, but I didn't think much of it. When we arrived on December 23rd, everything seemed peaceful. Our kids ran inside excitedly, and that night we sat by the fireplace with hot chocolate as snow fell outside. But around 10 p.m., we heard something that instantly killed the cozy feeling. It was a crunching sound coming from underneath the floor. Not random noises a house makes. This was distinct, like slow footsteps on fresh snow. I tried convincing myself it was an animal, but deep down, I knew it didn't sound like one. The next night, Christmas Eve, the crunching returned, louder and heavier. Slow, dragging footsteps traveled from one side of the cabin to the other, directly beneath us. I checked outside with a flashlight, but found no tracks, no holes, nothing. The next morning, both kids came to our room terrified, saying the floor under their beds had been moving. That's when I decided to lift a floorboard in the hallway where the sound seemed loudest. Beneath it was something that made no sense. Snow. Real, packed, ice-cold snow filling the entire crawl space under the cabin. Before I could even process how it was possible, the snow shifted. Something underneath pushed upward until a pale, frozen human hand slowly pressed through the surface. I stumbled back, and my wife screamed as the hand kept emerging, wrist, forearm, stiff and blue from ice. Then another floorboard cracked, and another hand pushed up through the snow, then another and another. Multiple frozen hands were breaking through the cabin floor, like something buried was trying to climb out. We grabbed the kids and ran out the front door without looking back. When the police investigated, they discovered 7 frozen bodies buried in tightly packed snow beneath the cabin. Previous renters who had gone missing over the last 15 years. The owner had been luring families, killing them, and burying them under the cabin, packing the crawl space with snow to preserve the bodies. The crunching sounds we heard were the frozen bodies slowly shifting and thawing from the heat of the fireplace above them. The owner was arrested, but the nightmares didn't stop. We moved to Florida because our kids couldn't sleep without seeing those hands again. And even now, sometimes late at night, when everything in the house is silent, I swear I can still hear that sound. Slow, steady, impossible to forget. Crunch, crunch, crunch.